Good morning.
Morning, Brent.
Morning.
How are you today?
I'm doing well, thank you. Regent Mendoza, did Regent Wolfmore speak with you yesterday?
Yes, I received a message from her.
Very good, thank you.
Okay, I am showing 10 o'clock, so I will go ahead and call this fast meeting to order. Jen, could you please do roll call for us?
Yeah. Regent Mendoza,
Present.
Regent Johnston,
Here.
Regent Prosker,
Here.
and Regent Wolfmore will be late. So that concludes roll.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Do we have any introductions this morning? Okay, hearing none,
morning.
so, go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Good morning. My name is Dr. Julio Guerrero. I'm the Dean of Health Education and Public Services at Butler Community College. And I've been asked by our Vice President of Academics, Dr. Barry Robinson, to join and take notes and provide them to him this morning.
Okay, thank you and welcome.
For some reason, my camera is not working. I'm having trouble with my laptop, so I apologize.
No worries, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
And Regent Mendoza, I'm Angela Poole-Funai. I'm sitting in for Provost Jill Arnsdorf from Fort Hays State.
Thank you and welcome.
Thank you.
Just as a reminder, we are being recorded this morning, and please keep your mics muted. If you want to be recognized to speak, just go ahead and speak up and state your name before you provide any suggestions or comments. So are there any other introductions? Okay, we are going to jump right into our agenda then. We have kind of a small agenda today, but with some important topics. So we will move down to hear from Dr. Provost Bickelmeyer on the Bachelor of Science in Data Science.
Hi, Regent Mendoza. I'm Jen Roberts. I'm going to be filling in for Professor, sorry, Provost Bickelmeyer on this degree. So thank you. This is a Bachelor of Science in Data Science. KU received a National Science Foundation grant, which has provided the funding for the Kansas Data Science Consortium. And that consortium's work is to enhance the data science capabilities of the Kansas workforce. And that, of course, is where this degree originated. I have here Dr. William Duncan, who's been leading the development of the degree, and he can provide a very brief overview.
Yeah, hi there. Thanks so much for having me. Pleasure to be here to talk about this degree proposal. So just very briefly, the idea behind the major and the way that we've constructed it focuses on sort of two key aspects of any person in data science who wants to go out and work in that kind of career path. And so the first is that the students that pursue this degree would have core skills in data science. We've developed a set of classes, 5 classes that they would take in sequence that give them the ability to wrangle data, visualize it, statistically analyze it, and develop it into a storytelling capability for their company or organization. And then the other area that we focus on is helping students gain skills where they can understand data in a context. And we're calling that domains of application. And so there, the requirement is that students go out and choose another discipline, maybe economics or maybe biology, where they have to take 4 upper level courses in that domain. And that way they're kind of seeing crosses, between where data can help them in that career, and then ways that they can apply those expert skills in, say, biology to the world of, data insights. I'm happy to go into more detail about the program if there are any questions, but maybe we'll just stop there with the brief overview.
Thank you for that overview. Are there any questions about the Bachelor of Science in Data Science?
Chair Mendoza, I do have a comment. I think it's an important education aspect for our students. This is excellent in terms of bringing that education in. William, do you know if it's a precursor for AI-related subjects in future?
That's a really terrific question. So this is something we've had to think a lot about, especially in our classes. We teach students a lot of coding skills in the data science classes. And so you all probably know that, see the news, coding and AI are being kind of intricately linked. So I would say, yes, our students use AI in their classes. They use it to support their homework assignments. We have policies in our syllabi, of course, about how to regulate that use, but definitely I think it's a precursor for them to have a better understanding of the benefits and difficulties of AI.
I think my question was misunderstood. In terms of like skills on AI, data science is a first precursor of education for students to be able to really understand how to actually code an AI, not use AI, but develop AI coding skills. But thank you.
Yes, I see what you're saying now. My apologies. We have one of the people involved is an expert on AI, and he's thinking exactly that direction.
Are there any other questions about this program? Okay, so I did have a question. So as I'm looking through the courses and what courses they'll be taking per semester, I think I have an idea, but can you help me understand where it talks about second area of study? Because I see that repeated. I'm assuming they would have a type of menu or something depending on which way they want to go, but can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah, that's exactly right. The second area of study is that domain of application. So these would be 4 classes, and that's you see them repeated 4 times there. 4 classes that they would take. And the classes, we do have menu lists of suggested classes. So just to take the example of biology again, we've worked with the biology chair to think through which classes in biology would make the most sense for students, given the pathway they would have to take to have some developmental classes in biology, and then the classes that would have some crossover with data.
Regent Mendoza, another way to think about that is having a skill set in data science is critically important in this moment in history and for workforce, but you make yourself even more valuable when you're using those data science skills tied to a particular content area or a particular expertise area of some kind. So that gives the opportunity for students to link depending on where they want to go in the workforce or what kind of jobs they want to have. It also sort of sets up options for double majors if somebody wanted to pursue that. So that's what that really means is a way to specialize and link data with whatever other specialty or domain a student wants to specialize in.
And sometimes it becomes a lot more meaningful understanding of data when you have dual, kind of have the subject matter expertise combined with data and understanding how to understand the data that we are looking at. So just.
Thank you all for that detailed explanation. Are there any other questions or comments about this program? Okay, if there are no other, there's no other discussion, I would entertain a motion to approve.
So moved. This is Alicia.
I'll second.
You all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Regent Mendoza, I believe we skipped over approval of the minutes from the
Yes.
previous meeting.
Yes, we did. I got excited about the agenda and forgot to do that. So we will go back to approval of the minutes. Are there any questions or changes that need to be made to those minutes? Okay, if not, then I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the February 12th FAST meeting.
I can move.
Second.
Okay, thank you. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Thank you. All right, so now we will move down to item B on our agenda, 3B, Act on the Kansas Free Application Day. Misty Knox?
Yeah, thank you. So during last month's report, I shared the aggregate application data and then the yield data from the 2023 free application days, which showed the 30% yield for the applications submitted during that 3-day initiative. Based on these stakeholder feedback, it's still the recommendation to remain consistent with the 2024 dates set for the second week of October, which would be the October 6th through 8th, 2025. Maintaining this timeline would allow for continuity in data collection and inform future initiatives. Additionally, the KIDS AY report anticipated in October will provide us with further insights into the impact of this initiative and assist us in making more informed decisions. Last month, after my report, there was some discussions among provosts expressing appreciation for the spirit of the application days. And then there was also some suggestions to collaborate and explore ways to streamline their processes for students applying and to reduce the burden faced by admissions departments, and then also some of the cost piece as well. I think that's where we're at today.
Regent Mendoza, I received communication from the provost, and they have been meeting and trying to collect that information. But I believe, if I understood the text correctly, there's a meeting of enrollment managers. If it's not tomorrow, it's later this week. I believe in our minutes too, or in our recording, going back through it, we moved to table this to March. So I might call upon one of the provosts, but I think if we could move this conversation until we receive the provost report, which I believe will be ready at the March FAST meeting.
And Rusty, if I could speak a little bit more to that,
Please.
appreciate that. We do have enrollment managers from each of our institutions getting together on Friday, actually, and they actually have committed a report to the provost on Friday afternoon that we can, I think, quickly review. And if it's helpful, I think we can get you email for consideration to get ready for the March meeting so that you can move quickly in that regard. But again, I think I can echo everybody and the sentiment that we appreciate the purpose of the Apply Free Days and what they do, and the access that it gives to students, and we're supportive of that. We're really looking for ways to streamline it, really from the processes internal to our units. So we'll know more about that from those who are doing the day-to-day work by Friday afternoon.
Thank you for the work on that, provost. So I think we need a motion to move this to the March meeting. Is that correct, Dr. Monholland?
I believe that'd be the best course of action, yes.
So
I can move.
okay, thank you. Are there any other comments in regards to this, moving this item or what needs to happen before March? Okay, I would go ahead and second then. So, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, thank you. We look forward to that data, Provost. Okay, we will move on to other matters. I believe Dr. Monholland is going to talk to us about the reduced credit baccalaureate information.
Yes, thank you, Regent Mendoza. I believe this was on our previous meeting's agenda, and we ran a little long, so we moved it to this one. What I'd like, I don't know that I have a lot of new information to bring to the committee members. What I would like is to get a sense of the committee's interest in pursuing this. Have you received enough information, had enough time to consider the pros and cons of a reduced credit bachelor's degree, that in the next meeting or so we can have a recommendation to send to the full board that would direct staff to begin work on taking the steps necessary to make this possible for institutions to propose reduced credit bachelor's degree. We know it will require revision of KBOR policies. I thought that it would also require some changes to state statute, but as we've been, we're still kind of spiraling around trying to find exactly where that information is. But we could not have anything ready. It would probably be at least a year or so process. So if you feel you need more information and you would like staff to bring that to you, we can certainly do that. But it's my sense anyway that this might be a good time to just make a decision to move forward. And if the decision is that we should put in place the opportunity for institutions to offer this, to propose such degrees, we can begin taking steps to allow for that.
So I believe when this first came up, there were several of the institutions that expressed interest in the 3-year reduced credit baccalaureate. We have received a lot of information, but having just heard that there will be there's going to have to be changes to KBOR policy and those types of things. I think it would be best if we kind of compiled all that information and what changes we're anticipating that will have to be made before we take it to the full board. I think that might be a better, just so we have all of our, T's crossed and our I's dotted before we take it to the full board. But I'm going to open this up to the other regions. I don't know if you guys have any comments or suggestions on this program or this discussion.
Chair Mendoza, this is Alicia. And I appreciate all the work that's been done on this. I do think that most of our institutions expressed at least an interest in pursuing what this is. It seems like there may be an opportunity here to have maybe a collaboration with our 2-year institutions where we could do something like a 2+1. I think, and as others have said, we probably, would have to have a different name. And I know Rusty had already said that would be something that we would consider. But I do think that there's some opportunity here. I don't think it's appropriate, as most of us don't, for all subject matters. But I do think that there's certainly some opportunity here, especially if we look, like I said, maybe at some collaboration with our 2-year institutions where they could do kind of a 2+1 and maybe do something for those folks that are homebound and can't get off of or get out of their place of residence, but they already have some 2-year credits. But that would just be one option. But I'm certainly in favor of moving it forward and trying to look at some appropriate degrees that this would work for.
Chair Mendoza, I would like to say, in addition to what Regent Johnson has said, I think we should also get some data from the industry and see, because we are making these provisions for the students to be able to get into careers and jobs. And I want to see if the industry recognizes this credential. And I know that this is not across all areas of education. We are looking at specific areas. So it may be easier for us to get some information also from the industry recognized.
I think that's an excellent point, Nalima. I think that's good. And I think that there's a lot of our technical certificates and programs that may be appropriate for this 3-year bachelor degree.
Yeah.
Thank you, Regents. When we heard from the HLC, they had also mentioned that institutions that wanted to provide this would have to provide some kind of justification so that we're not applying it to all areas, because we know that it won't apply to all areas appropriately. But my next question would be, what is that process for justification? How are we going to, what is going to be the criteria for that? And I don't know if there is a criteria because each program is unique, but I'm kind of wondering what that process would look like. So I don't know, Dr. Monholland, if those are some things that we can kind of start to put together before we move forward. Not that we won't move forward, but just to kind of have some more information on what it might look like.
Yes, I think that's going to be built into the process of revising our policy, but then also developing some guidelines, some regulations on how this would work. I'll ask Sam Christie Dangermond if to correct me if I misstate anything, but we have now, in terms of for associate degree or for baccalaureate degrees, bachelor's degrees, master's degree, there's a process, step-by-step process institutions would have to go through, and the kind of information we're expecting for that. It's my sense that we would try to develop a similar process for a reduced credit baccalaureate, but including, as you've mentioned, the justification for the reduced hours. In response to Regent Parasker's comment, I mean, I believe all of our proposals require some kind of labor market survey, some data to provide evidence that there's a need for this degree, that there will be the appropriate demand. I think your point is, getting some sense of that on the front end is important, but that would also be part of the process. Sam, have I minimized the process too much? But I mean,
No.
It would be a conversation we would have to engage in with our partners at the universities and develop a series of steps and revise our policy. So this is a possibility. And I think that's important to keep in mind. This isn't, just granting the right to offer, it's the right to propose a reduced credit baccalaureate. And then the proposal would have to rise to a certain level and meet certain criteria.
So I guess I'll defer back to the academic affairs staff. What are we thinking as far as some of the information that the regents have mentioned just now? What are we thinking as far as a timeline? How long will it take us to kind of pull some of that information together so we can kind of have maybe an outline or something of what this will look like overall before we take it to the full board?
Okay. We can certainly do that. And I think that's probably a step we would take anyway. I think what I'm hoping to get from this meeting, do you have enough, is there more information, or now are we interested in what is going to be the process for putting this option in place? And certainly academic affairs staff, we can huddle together and start putting together some timeline and timetable for getting this done. We know revision of policy, what, Sam, probably 8 months or so? Will it take that long?
Sometimes it takes as few as 3, so it's just hard to tell how many people will comment,
Yeah.
how many entities need to comment. Sorry, fighting a cold.
And of course, if we can confirm that it's going to require some statutory changes, it would be too late for this legislative session, so we would need to develop that model legislation and find a sponsor and gauge interest. So it could be a short amount of time. We could move fairly quickly if it's just our own policies we have to revise, but if it's also going to require some legislative input, that adds additional time to the process. So I think we want to put in place at least the criteria, the process, the structure for the institutions that want to propose these kinds of degrees, because right now they don't even have that option.
I think we've received a lot of information on this already, but some of the things that you just mentioned about policy changes and statutory changes, and I think that's kind of what I'm looking for as far as what is the process going to look like. I don't know if you're asking, do we need to vote on we're going to implement this, or we need more information first? I guess I'll defer back to you, Dr. Monholland. What is your?
Yeah. Yes. I think what I'm looking for is some sense of the committee. Is this is providing the institutions the option to propose a reduced credit baccalaureate degree something the board wants to pursue? And if it does, I think what we would like to have is kind of a charge or direction from BASS to begin doing that work. Putting in place, begin doing our research on here are the revisions, here how we might revise the policy, confirm, what the legislative input may have to be, think about a process, and then bring that back to the board for approval. Again, I think it's important to remember, if we provide this as an option, as another degree option for institutions to propose, it doesn't mean all of our programs suddenly are going to transform from 120 down to 90 credits or so. The proposals would still have to go through the same rigorous process. There would have to be a justification for reducing that number. Does it meet market needs? Does it meet industry needs? It's my sense that this whole process will take some time. And if institutions are keen to want to move forward with this, I would like to have in place the structure for them to propose that. So that we're not holding up what may be some good options for students and for industry.
Chair Mendoza, this is Alicia. I would move, if we need a motion, that we charge the board with gathering information to determine, what it takes for institutions to be able to propose degree options. For the 3-hour, that would be something, wouldn't it? For the 90-hour bachelor degree.
Ask any thoughts?
Yes, I can second that. I I think Dr. Mulholland, the point is we want to explore. It's not that regions are asking the universities to do it, but if the universities are interested in doing researching on this, I don't have any obligation, to resist that research. Let's just be clear about that.
So, Dr. Mulholland, do you need a formal approval to move forward with that charge, or?
I don't think so. I think what I have is kind of a directive, a sense of the committee that you would like. You don't necessarily need more information about the degree itself, but more information about what's our policy going to look like, what's our approval process, what are the criteria we're going to use to assess these programs. So with that in hand, I think we could begin moving forward and putting that together. And I could come back to BASC and provide a date, a timeline. We'll get this pulled together and bring it back for consideration on such and such meeting, perhaps early in the fall or something. I'm not sure what our timeline will look like just yet, but that's what I'm suggesting we would do.
Any other thoughts or comments from the regents on that? Okay, and we will wait to hear from the academic affairs staff on that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anything else to come before the committee this morning? Okay, so if I'm not missing anything else on the agenda here, I think that concludes our meeting. So I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. This is Alicia.
I'll second.
Yeah, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Thank you all for your work.